And we're live! Hello! So we should be appearing in big old boxes on the screen. I'm in this box here. And we got Norm over here in this box, in the nice blue box. Say hello, Norm.
Hello, Norm.
Hey! Hopefully we sound good and our levels are all okay. This is the first time using OBS to stream, so I'm kind of figuring it out as I go. So bear with me here, guys. But yeah, this is the second session of Ironsworn. Hopefully the title should say that and shouldn't say test like it did when I actually started the stream. So fingers crossed for that. How you doing, Norm?
Yeah, I've been good. I mean, well, when did we last game together? Yesterday?
Yeah, ages ago. Oh.
Yeah, it's slightly
my
different.
I Love Giant Anteaters mug here. Just realised that was. I didn't even think of that. That's my partner's mug. Enjoy.
Brilliant.
Not used to being on cam and having to work out what's kind of around me.
Yeah, so last time we ran into quite a lot of trouble, and I don't know if you want to give a quick recap of where we left off and a little bit about the world if people haven't watched before.
Yeah, absolutely.
People can't remember because it was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we've been playing on Roll20, and we'll switch scenes in a minute so that you can see the Roll20 website and everything like that. All that's set up, and will be over in the corner of your screen, down there. But yeah, for now we'll just chat here about what actually happened last session and what maybe just a quick thing of what Ironsworn is for anyone who's completely new and hasn't played Ironsworn.
Sure.
Yeah, so Ironsworn essentially is a GMless RPG system. We've been playing it a lot solo, and this sort of these Ironsworn sessions are our first time playing it co-op without a GM. And it's all set in the kind of harsh Ironlands. Everyone's Ironlands is different, and we spent last session setting up what ours was. We won't go over all the details, but it's quite a fun little world we've got for ourselves. Which is I love the way that the game kind of lets you do that and gives you kind of variability in every setup through some interesting choices. And then we made our characters and had a pretty problematic first session for them, didn't we? So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, things went wrong from the get-go. So our initial vow was to locate and rescue our buddy Caillou, who's the third member of our group. We are sellswords, and Caillou is a human magic user in our version of the Ironlands. It is kind of a closely guarded secret that humans can do magic. It was unheard of in our old world, but in the Ironlands, magic flows through the land. So people towards the edge of our borders and people born within the Ironlands, some of them have started to become magical, and the council who quote unquote look after the Ironlanders, they want to keep it a secret, so they have a nasty habit of rounding them up and doing nasty things to them. So, fearing for the worst, we believe wholeheartedly some advice we were given about magic users' location. Turn out it was an ambush, but that was not the least of our trouble, because we ended up being attacked by a hollow on a sort of old sacred magical glade. It completely kicked our ass. The last thing that happened is we both passed out of consciousness at a safe distance away from the hollow, and we're kind of fading in at that scene. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. There's a kind of divide in the Iron Worlds between humans and non-humans, isn't there? They called the Firstborn.
Yep.
And so magic has always been a part of this land, and the Firstborn who already inhabited this land can use magic as part of day-to-day. It's mundane for them. It's everyone can do it. But the humans were unable to use magic. However, they arrived with a lot of iron, which is a very rare and precious resource in this iron lands.
Yeah.
So yeah, which is made for an interesting kind of melding between the two sort of groups, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. So we settled, and yeah, we're ready to carry on the journey. So I think that's pretty much it. Should we get started?
Yeah, that sounds great. Sorry, I'm just having a few audio hiccups as we start. Obviously, it's gonna be a bit for us to get everything totally crisp and clear. So I'm just trying to work it out as we go. So if I ever look distracted, that's what I'm trying to do. Apparently, yeah, we should be able to get everything sounding good for you guys if we can. Just give me 1 second before we dive right in. Should we introduce our characters while I'm doing this? You can tell the people about your guy, and I'll tell them about mine. If you want, I'll switch us down to the corners, and we can pull up our character sheets as well. That'd be quite fun. So if you see, we've got the Roll20 website. Oh gosh, got the Roll20 website here. I think I just moved our borders around there, and I cannot move them back.
Looking good to me.
There we go. So yeah, we've got the Roll20 website here. We're going to be on the Ironsworn game. If we just launch that. And this has all our character sheets and other bits of information. And I've got my dice set up on the corner here for rolling.
Nice. Yeah, so my character is Harold the Breaker. Harold is I kind of went over his backstory in the last session, which is available on YouTube if you want the full lowdown. To give you a very brief to give you a very brief overview, Harold was raised in a military home. He never really had any friends to travel about quite a lot. When he met Jagger or Jake, is it Jagger? Jagger
the Dagger.
Yeah. When he met the Dagger, he decided that the military life for him, and he wants to go off and be friends with this wild child. He is now a sellsword with classic military training. His background vow is to kill every member of the Burning Iron Brigade. Now, the Burning Iron Brigade is in our world. These were a group of military people who were ordered to round up magic users and perform experiments on them, which was just torture. As Harold knows about this, he feels like he has a sense of obligation that because not many people know, but he does, he should bring justice to those who were mistreated. So that's his sort of background vow. His current vow that he's working on is to find and probably rescue Caillou, or Kai as we call him. We don't really have much information on where Kai is. We were sort of following we were on a bit of a wild goose chase on the last one, but hopefully we can find that out soon. But yeah, that's Harold, and yeah, do you want to talk about Jagger the Dagger?
Yeah, so Jagger the Dagger is an interesting fella. Sorry if I keep moving the borders, by the way. I'm just trying to get everything right on the stream there. So Jagger is he's a bit of a wild child. He was kind of raised in a bit of a fishing village, and he kind of rejected his parents' upbringing and the choices they wanted for him, and instead spent most of his time kind of secluded away in the woods, and met a actual firstborn, a very old elf who is a hermit in the woods there, who acted kind of as the main moral guidance, I guess you'd call it, for Jagger growing up. He taught him everything he knows about, how to act, how to be, and some skills, some practical skills. For example, Jagger, if I just pull up his character sheet over here, you should see we have assets. Boom. So, for example, Jagger has wild blood. This is one of his paths, and that is all from being brought up by this hermit fellow. Just bear with me 1 second. This is me being underprepared. Sorry about this. There we go. Yes, so the hermit's name was Burundi, but Jagger called him Bundi. On his 13th birthday, Jagger struck out on his own. He really values independence, partly through the influence of Bundi, and he's kind of went to find his own feet in the world and scrape by on his own, which has given him kind of a bit of a hard knocks upbringing. You know, he's got into a lot of trouble. He's had to do, you know, sort of, I guess, legally questionable things to scrape by. But he's eventually found steady employment as a kind of freelance hired muscle, doing slightly less savoury jobs for the different people. When he was 15, he met Harold, and they became fast friends. Jagger invited Harold to join him for the jobs and gave him an insight into a world that Harold obviously didn't know, and they formed a kind of solid duo, you know, each complementing each other's skills and things like that, you know. While Jagger's more the sort of stealthy, sneaky guy, Harold's the brute force muscle. He can take a hit, yeah. I should quickly say every character in Ironsworn has a background vow. Did you just mention that, Norm? Sorry, I wasn't paying full attention.
That's okay. I went through my background vow though, but I didn't explain exactly what it was.
So a background vow is a vow that your character usually made earlier on in life, and it's their kind of overarching thing they want. It's usually a very difficult thing to achieve. For Jagger, his background vow is that he wants to take a crown, the crown of Helior, for himself. This crown belongs to a very high up sort of royalty in the Firstborn. It's currently owned by one of the main houses, one of the major elf houses, by a queen of the elves, and it's an absolutely beautiful crown. I won't go into all the descriptive detail of it here, but essentially it was Burundi who told Jagger about it when he was growing up, and so it's kind of in his mind the most valuable treasure in the world. It's apparently got rumored to be able to control nature and everything like that. So yeah, that's kind of a quick meandering summary of Jagger the Dagger.
Nice. Real. So you're happy to get started?
Yep. There we go. You can see the vows there for the character. Every character has different attributes. If you can see, Jagger's a more edgy, shadowy kind of guy. Not got much heart or iron. Those are kind of your sort of willpower and health stats, I guess, for want of a better thing. And Harold is... There we go, summary. I keep clicking the wrong buttons. There we go. Harold is kind of almost his inverse there. He's got tons of iron, not much edge, not much shadow.
Yeah.
Hopefully that came out all right on the feed there. I think that was all clear. Yeah, and like Norm said, so last session we went off to find and rescue our friend Caillou, or Kai, and we ended up running foul of a very, very nasty monster called a Hollow. Which absolutely destroyed us, didn't it? It knocked me out unconscious. We only just got away with my life. When I rolled, I very nearly died in the first session. Like by one number, I was safe. And then, and yeah, we managed to just get away and not die.
Real.
So yeah, we kind of. We fade back in on the scene. We're at the edge of this magical glade. We've escaped into a kind of wooded area. Jagger has just collapsed. He's dying. He needs medical attention right now, or he will die, and this will be a very short session. Hisky says, "Eek, glad you two made it to session 2." Yeah, well, let's see if we can get on to session 3. I genuinely, I want to make this very clear right now. We are slaves to the dice in this game. We might die. Our characters might die, and we'll have to improv from there and work out what we're going to do next. But it very much can happen in this game, and we're in a situation where it actually might happen. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah. So yeah, I've just collapsed on the edge of the glade. I think that was where my character blacked out. What's happened with Harold?
Okay, sorry.
Oh, I should mention we turned up to this glade searching for Kai, and there was a big group of the kind of the magic catchers. I think that's what we called them, isn't it?
Yeah.
They were already there waiting for us. It turned out it was an ambush. They were looking for people who came to this place either because, why are you interested in this magical glade? You must have some connection with magic, or they baited people in who were connected to magic people as we were. And yeah, so they were intending to capture us, but then things got even more out of hand, and the big scary hollow appeared, and they scarpered.
Okay, so fade in. The last thing we saw is that we were both unconscious. You were in a worse state than I was, however, by quite a bit. I mean, I was in no fit state. My health is still on 0, but my momentum's on 0 as well. So I'm not like maimed or anything sinister or horrible like that. So I'm kind of passing in and out of consciousness. And as I'm passing in and out of consciousness, I hear these voices and feel these things touching my chest. And I hear your name. Well, no, not your name. I hear the name Anuna quite a lot. Anuna, I need Anuna. We can. And as I'm passing in and out of consciousness, it's like a fever dream. I kind of see elves running past me, elves running the opposite direction, and I see the underneath of trees passing over my head as if I'm moving, but I can't stand up. I can't, I'm no fit position to do that. Cut to a questionable amount of time later. Not sure. Could have been 5 minutes, could have been 5 hours, could have been a whole day. And I wake up in this large tent. My iron armor has been removed, and I'm wearing this blue gown with arms in the hole, with holes in the arms. And along the arm and across the trim is got like a golden trim. In the middle is a half, like a setting sun, and that is also gold. Picture this, the same kind of blue as Spock's uniform in Star Trek, right? That's the kind of blue. I look over, and to my right, beside me, in a like a cot, like a camping cot, is Jagar, who is still unconscious. The room is full of elves in the same gown as I am, and a female elf who is slightly middle-aged. Harold's quite bad at guessing if non-human's age, but you would assume around middle age. However, whatever age that is for an elf, right? and she goes, "You gave us quite the scare. Now please lie back down." For the purpose of, just so you know what I had planned, Scruffy, I was imagining, now that I've given you that little bit of fiction, to give you context, I was imagining that where we got thrown out past this magical glade's boundaries, and where we were already on the border of the Ironlanders, home, the Havens, I was imagining that we were tossed into like an elven territory.
The deep wilds, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So we're in the deep wilds, and there is it's elf territory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was also imagining that because the magical glade and the hollow that abides there is obviously something worthy of study for the elves, because they harness magic unlike humans and embrace it. So I was imagining that there is a magical sciences sort of team who are studying this when they noticed the humans and the magic catchers arriving. So they began sort of staking them out, trying to gauge their intentions.
Yeah.
Not,
I imagine they wouldn't have approached a group of how many men was it? 6 men or something, all armored in iron. They would have just kept back, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. So maybe they've been staking them out for a while. Maybe they know their intentions are bad. And when they saw what happened to us, they rushed to provide us medical attention as soon as we were on their ground. So they welcomed us in as like refugees almost. And that's kind of what I imagine happened. Now, I don't know if what I would like to do is with that piece of fiction, I think that should trigger like a sojourn move, because we're in definite need of healing and resupplies and you name it. We're in need of it, right? So, because you're the one who's most harmed, I don't know if you want to make those rolls or.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. One thing with Ironsworn is you kind of can't just put your health back up to full. I'm on 0 health at the moment here, as you can. Oh, that's you, Norm. You're on 0 health as well.
Correct. Yeah.
That doesn't mean we're dead. What that means is if we were to take a hit, it's going to have really nasty effects on us. I'm also on 0 health here. Where's our momentum tracked? I can't remember.
It's down the bottom.
Right down the bottom. My momentum, you can just see there, is at -5. Lowest it can go is -6. That's kind of almost your real worry. It's not a good thing. And the way you get health and momentum back is by resupplying and by doing things like sojourning, like Norm just said, where you try and get help from the people around you and things like that. Sorry, I'm just getting the audio levels just right. Hopefully we sound better than when we started today, and then I will be fully here. That should be good. Is that good?
Yeah, I don't know if sojourn is the correct move then, because they're already willing to give us the aid. So we're not.
Well, I mean, they've rescued us, but they might not be willing to do much more than that. And I think you're absolutely right. We should sojourn. We should see how much help we can get here. They might want to just boot us out. Let's let the game tell us.
Sure.
Oh, what happened there? Did you?
It's me. You're on my character sheet.
Oh, was it? Okay. So Norm is going to find the move for sojourn now. It should be under. I can't see it.
So it's under. Oh, I just lost it.
There it is. Relationship moves.
Yep.
Sojourn. So what happens here is we roll the dice and we see what happens. Since it's for both of us, I'll just roll on here and we'll add. Should we add your heart for this one, Norm?
Yeah, I mean I'm awake, aren't I? So
yeah. So you're the one whose stats are going to be relevant for this. So what happens is we roll 2 d10s and a d6. The d10s are kind of the difficulty that we've got to beat, and the d6 is how well we perform. So in this case, we've got 4 plus Norm's heart, plus Harold's heart, which is
2, I believe.
2. Yep, you're right. I remember. So 4, 5, 6 means we beat one of the dice, but we didn't beat the other one. We tied with it, which means unfortunately that's not what we needed. So in this case, we get a weak hit because we beat one of the dice.
So I'm gonna.
And that means...
I would like to take the recuperate, which is take +2 health for yourself and any companions.
Nice. Nice. So yeah, on a weak hit, choose one. If you share a bond, choose one more. We don't share a bond with anyone here, so we get to both take 2 health, right?
Yeah, which is great. So imagine what I said is so I tried to convince them to provide you with more medical aids, but I don't think it would have been too difficult because they're quite welcoming. They rescued us. They know They know that we weren't friends with the magic catchers because they would have seen us have our scrap, right? So I would have said, thank you very much. Your aid is much appreciated and severely needed, I'm afraid. I think my friend over here is in a much worse state than myself. I would greatly appreciate any further medical attention you could provide.
I imagine the elves would say, "Oh yes, our best healers are already at work," and that sort of thing. You know, as you were saying it, people were still bustling around. It was irrelevant what you said, really. Pretty much, like they were going to do it anyway. Yeah. You nearly got them to go a step further for you, but they're still a little bit wary. I think there was you could see a kind of pause in the matron, that's it. As she was talking to you, and you can kind of there may be more that they could do, but I think the moment passed and you just kind of sunk back and let the medical thing happen. I can't change my health on my character sheet. Can you do it?
On yours? Yeah, sure. I don't know. Give me 2 seconds.
It lets me change the spirit and everything, but not the health, which is strange. Yeah, I'll move us back to bigger videos when we get a bit more fiction-y in the future. I think that was a lot.
It's not letting me do it either. Maybe because your momentum's so low.
Oh, maybe. Do you gain momentum instead of health if your momentum's that low? That might actually be what happens. I'll just quickly glance at the rules.
Luckily, my momentum was at 0.
Yes, that might actually be what happens. Because I know that when you take damage and you're at 0 health, you take it as momentum. But here we go. But yeah, it might be that when you heal, if you're on negative momentum, you heal your momentum. That would make a lot of sense. I think, to be fair, we'll look at that rule later. Let's just play it like that. That seems sensible to me.
So you're on 3 momentum.
-5 all the way up to -3 there. And that's it. Good old Roll20 for teaching us the rules as we play, hopefully.
Cool. So I imagine as this is happening, like the smell of sage and other, wild plants that they would use for like herbal remedies and stuff to maybe like disinfect your wounds and maybe even get rid of some of the nasty magical energy that was on you.
Hisky's being rude about me in chat, just so you know.
Who is?
Can't trust Scruffy to keep track of health, obviously.
Yeah, well, that's true. Can't trust Scruffy with much in games. Yeah, so imagine that's happening. At this point, are you still unconscious, or what are you doing now?
Yeah, I imagine that Jagar's coming to now. He's had the medical attention that conveniently means he's not going to die. That was very, very lucky. Giving ourselves a break. We were very harsh to ourselves last session, so it's nice that we've had a bit of a break in the fiction this session. Good, cool. Yeah, I think he's just kind of groggily coming to and looking down at his fancy elf clothes and kind of looking over at you.
And I'm kind of looking a little like relieved. There's a genuine sense of relief that you're awake, but then you sort of see the sort of bewildered look on my face, like, what the bloody hell am I wearing? Where am I?
Yeah, I think it can't be understated quite how shaken up Jagar got from the last session. Like it was not nice. It was all the worst things for him. He loves nature. He loves the woods and things, and he had that all kind of come at him in a nut. He was covered in insects at one point, just getting bitten and scratched. It was horrible.
Do you think you need
his spirit is 1? It should be 5. This is your kind of mental health, and so he's he's very quiet and subdued, but you can see relief etched into every line of his face. Like, yeah, at least he's on a bed and it's it's safe.
Do you think you need to take any sort of permanent abilities because of?
No. That's something that comes out of the mechanics, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. As long as you're happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess the next steps is for us to kind of wake up and feel our way around this place and work out, whether we're going to stay here or move on.
Well, yeah, we don't even know where our stuff is at this point, right? Like, we've woken up without anything. So
yeah.
I kind of asked the lady who came over to me earlier, I say, sorry, I do beg your pardon. Can I ask where my armor is? And she says, oh, yes, it was quite difficult to perform any kind of practical treatment on the eye review with the gear that you guys had on. We did away with that, don't you worry, but it is safe. And you'll get it back when you're fit and you're ready to leave this medical tent. And I kind of say, I feel fine. I do appreciate your concern. I do have some questions, though. I'd really love to know what on earth attacked us and how many of these things there are, and if I'm going to bump into one again when I try to leave.
Yeah, I imagine the response comes back that it was a hollow. It was an ancient spirit of a great elf that has become warped and twisted by the land.
When you were getting the stream ready, I rolled on some oracles to get a name and a character motivation for the hollow.
Nice.
So I'll read them both to you now, and we can sort of come up together with what we think that means, and this might be what Anuna tells us. So the name I got was Ibrahim.
Ibrahim?
Right. And his motivation is to restore a relationship.
Okay.
I know. I kind of thought that sounds like unfinished business, like, kind of goes into the fiction of what hollows are, but I don't know what that would be. Do you have any ideas that spring to mind immediately?
Well, it'd be nice if it was to do with sort of maybe a falling out of the great houses of elves and the kingdoms. Maybe there's a massive rift between the royalty. I think it would be nice to have the character be a high king of the elves. I mean, we've said in our world building that the great houses in the elves are a very important thing. This is kind of, imagine the sort of Game of Thrones houses, but it's all the firstborn. The elves and the Varu, which are kind of wolf people and things like that, have their kind of established houses. The Ironlanders don't. We are just under one banner, the Ironlanders. But we are, as the Ironlanders, starting to maybe have some houses come out, and some of the sort of council members are kind of almost at that tipping point, which is exciting. But yeah, so it'd be nice if for the elves there was a I want to say almost a Romeo and Juliet, Capulets and Montagues type thing.
Yes, I love it. I love where you're going with this.
And that this is the sort of head of one of those great families where there has been this bad blood, and that he maybe wants to restore. Maybe he's the first. Maybe this is where it all came from, and there's been years and years of feuds and wars between the two houses because of one specific incident in the past. And he would love to see that divide repaired.
Maybe there used to be one house, and there was, like you said, that it's split in two. And perhaps he blames himself for that somehow.
Yeah, so maybe he was the head of the family, the dynasty, and that a kind of branch came out of it. Maybe a cousin, cousin or a brother formed their own sort of branch of the family, and that then there was a rift between the two. Should we ask the Oracle what it was about?
Yeah. Do you want to do like an action and theme, or?
Yeah. So if I shrink us down, ooh, and let's have a look at the Oracle. Where do we find the Oracle on Roll20?
There is an Oracle's one, but it looks like it's all the Delve moves, because it's all like combat event, trap, sight, theme, etc.
I'll tell you what we can do. I can get the Oracle. I can get the Oracle on the actual thing here by simply dragging this over here. Hopefully. Not working right now. These things work really well when you're tooling around in theory, but as soon as you try and practically do it, it just does not work.
It's getting a bit warm. I'm just going to open a window.
There we go. So hopefully you guys can see that. We have the Ironsworn rulebook, and if I skip forward to the Oracle page, somewhere around page 93 in this rulebook. Oh, look at that. And that just makes me look amazing, doesn't it? Just around page 93. And we'll roll for the reason the elves were feuding. And we'll roll on... Should we roll on a theme?
Sure.
So just looking at the D10s here, we've got a 5 and a 9, 59. A rumour. I'm going to roll action as well. 33. A manipulative rumour.
Oh.
Manipulative rumour was spread. Perhaps from the brother who was forming the branch house. They spread a rumour that just caused all this problem. Just one little thing. Just that malicious intent. That rumour to try and take power, to try and undermine the main brother, and there was never forgiveness. It caused just so much, just something so little like that as well. Yeah.
So where does Ibrahim sit in this? Is he the one who was done wrong, or is he the one who did
the rumour? Oh, that is a good question. Should we roll for it?
Yeah, should we do a 50-50? If he started the rumour, then it's 50 or above, or 51 and above, and then 1 to 50.
He had the rumour about him, so he was the head of the family. Okay. So he started the rumour.
What a shitbag.
What a shitbag. So and it's that guilt, I guess.
Yeah.
He has just become a manifestation of guilt, and that he, by doing this one little thing... Yeah. So how much of that do you think the elves know? How much of that story has kind of been warped and changed, and that I guess he's kind of a villain. They maybe see this.
I think. Well, I'd like the idea that what we just found out through asking the Oracle is the warped and twisted and new bite-sized version that modern elven society tells its children at schools, and this is what's been passed down. Who knows what actually happened?
Breaking my stream here. There we go. Sorry, guys.
Who knows what actually happened, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I like. So, should we roll a compel on this elf to see how much information she's willing to give up?
Well, I mean, gather information, right?
Gather information. Yeah, that's probably a good one. So I think it's fair if I ask the question, didn't I? So
yeah. So you're the one rolling. I think Jagar's just kind of watching this whole conversation unfold.
Do you want to roll on your screen, or do you want me to roll my dice?
Roll your dice.
Okay, I'm glad you said
that. I'll get the thing up, and you can tell us what you got. So gather information is right here, and you're trying to roll, I guess, plus wits. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a weak hit.
A weak hit.
Yeah.
Okay. So on a weak hit, the information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. So this is the quest to rescue Kai, presumably.
Yeah.
Envision what you discover and take +1 momentum. You get a momentum.
We both do, right? It's co-op.
Oh, is that how it works in multiplayer?
It's co-op, baby.
Yeah. Thank you, Norm. I'm needing the momentum right now.
So
it's kind of fitting that we're at such a kind of lull in the action that my character is at a lull in his. It's lovely the way that mechanic kind of feeds that emergent narrative. It's so good.
So, okay, so what I gather as a middle-aged healer, she sort of looks at us like, I'm very busy, but nevertheless goes ahead and tells us this story of Ibrahim. She calls him Ibrahim. Yeah, she calls him Ibrahim, and she says how her people are.
Should we say that the manipulative rumor was that there is a specific? It's either going to relate to humans, and that perhaps the head of the family was related to humans, but I don't think they knew about humans then. Maybe it's to do with instead. What I'm saying is it's got to relate to Kai's situation, right? So maybe it's that there's a rumor that there is a bad sort of magic or something like that, and that a lot of elves maybe think that any human that can do magic can only do this bad magic that Ibrahim's accused his brother of having. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great. So she kind of explains that to us, and we kind of glance at each other like, that's nonsense. But
so what's the magic called? The bad magic. I think it needs a nice name.
There isn't an oracle that can provide us with that, I don't think.
There isn't. I mean, we could obviously fancy name generate it, or we can come back to it. But I think it'd be really cool if we can pin a name to it, and it would be great if that name somehow connects inadvertently with humans. That it's something like maybe it's called iron magic or something.
I was thinking iron magic, but maybe something less.
Because iron in this land. I mean, to us, I think iron is kind of a bit of a mundane thing, but in this land, I think iron is mysterious. Iron is it's the magic killer a lot of the times, and I think it causes a bit of fear. So iron magic, ooh, that sounds scary, and that connects to humans because we've come over, with an abundance of iron and being able to work iron in ways that are just easy to us, but not something that anyone. Except a few very special people. It's kind of the inverse of what magic is to us, to them.
Sure.
Yeah, iron magic.
I like that. I'm going to note that down.
Yeah. I need to get a little note document up on Roll20. Do you know how to do that?
If you go to Journal.
Okay.
And then you click Add.
I think I'm in Journal. Add. Handout.
Yeah, and then add a handout. You can just type what you want in there.
Mysterious note. I'm just going to write notes. Oh man, this is a bit confusing for me. If you keep track of the notes, that'll be great, and we'll put them up on here in a bit.
No props. Okay.
Let's get back to it.
Iron magic. So she explains this iron magic to us. This idea. I kind of like the idea that now it's kind of a dated thought, but some of the more superstitious in that land. Yeah. They're kind of like if like the old school, the grandparents, and they still kind of have this idea that iron magic is real and it's bad and only humans can do it, like a prejudice,
Yeah.
But
it's
most
like
modern elves, and certainly this magical science division, where they're studious people, they wouldn't have that kind of prejudice, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess the way that the lady, the elf talks about it is like, it's silly really, but
yeah.
But the fact is, it's silly really, but it's the reason there was wars in the past. That there's blood has been spilt about this, before.
Yeah. So Anuna explains. Anuna is her name, by the way. We don't know that in the fiction yet because we haven't bothered to ask her. But she explains this To us, she also explains how if you go on the glade with copious amounts of iron, you're pretty likely to get attacked. I think at this point I want to ask her if she has heard of a human magic user by the name of Caillou.
Yeah.
If she's been studying that area, if there's any truth in what we were told in the previous session, he might have been there. So would you say that's likely or unlikely that she would know?
Well, we can roll for that information. I think it's just worth quickly circling back to the roll we just did and saying that the complication we have from this kind of rumor and this fact that there is iron magic is that, she says it's silly really, but that's because of who she is. And if she were to meet Kai, she'd probably be cool with him. But if somebody else from this kingdom were to meet Kai, I think it becomes very obvious to us that if they found out he had magic, it would be tense, to say the least. That there is, anyone who's got any sort of, I guess, what you described as kind of almost religious zeal about the whole, or believes in iron magic, would be really quite scared of Kai.
Yeah, and if enough people believe it, perhaps the implications would have a ripple effect through to the leaders of, both borders, They might contact the council, like, what are your magic users doing, scaring our peaceful people?
It would cause an international incident. And the fact is, on a surface level, even the council are trying to hide that humans can cast magic, and perhaps this is one of the reasons they know that about this this one little rumor that this is it's all layers on layers. This is probably one small pebble in the larger beach of problems, but it's certainly one, and it's not insignificant.
Excellent. So we kind of pick up on that, and we can put two and two together to know that if Kai's been anywhere near here, we need to bloody get him quickly. So going back to my previous question, do you think she would likely have heard or seen him if we provide a description? If we were to say...
Yeah, I think what we'll say is maybe this is it's either going to be gather information or kind of compel, like, would you be able to put the word out and that sort of thing and help us find him? Which do you think we're trying to do? I guess let's come up with the fiction first. So let's do the conversation.
Sure. Would you like to chime in?
Yeah, so I think Jagar's gonna pipe up and just say, we were looking for, because we'll come out of the conversation. Why were you in the glade anyway? We were looking for our friend. His name's Kai. He looks, he looks like he looks like if grain was a human, like pretty bland, pretty.
I sort of chuckle to myself.
Yeah,
just sort of snigger.
You couldn't really pick him out of a lineup of one, but he's got about between our heights and a bit, maybe he's a bit shorter than both of us. Yeah, he's a bit shorter than both of us. He's got black hair, short black hair. He's got
does he? I always thought he was bald for some reason.
Lost. Yeah. Have you seen him? Could you put the word out? Have you seen this guy?
I think we should ask us two questions. One, have you seen him? And we need to establish whether she has or hasn't. And then we need to say, can you put the word out or can you help us?
Okay, I guess we're gathering information again then, aren't we?
But does she even know, first of all, right?
Yeah, this is me trying to gather information, and we'll decide what that is in a moment. So I'll shrink us back down, and I will roll my exciting dice. Right, so we hit an even.
Is it a failure?
This is just typical. I'm adding my wits, aren't I? Let me just check what my wits are. I'm really hoping I beat this. I don't think I possibly can beat this. God, I suck at this game. Oh, what's my momentum now? Okay, so if I'd rolled a 2, I'd ignore it anyway and just we fail. But wits is 2, so yeah,
Do you get a plus because you have a bond with Kai?
No, if I had a bond with her, I'd have a plus.
Okay.
And even then, it wouldn't have been enough. So what we just got was what is described as an even in this game, and evens are either going to be strong successes or weak hits. And obviously, when you fail, you get the weak hits, or strong. They'll either be strong successes or misses. And if you fail, you get a miss. If you succeed, you get a strong hit. And because it's an even, further complications, kind of a twist. It's like a critical fail in D&D, or a critical hit. And so in this case, I've rolled a critical fail. So let's just quickly check the move for gather information. On a miss, your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. And then we're going to have to pay the price. And I think this needs to be a twist. This needs to be some sort of further complication as well. So it's as bad as it can be.
There's a major plot twist oracle. Do you want to...
Yeah, let's hit that. Why not? I'm enjoying hitting the oracles today. Let's do that. So...
It's on page 190.
Oh, on the book.
Do you want me to roll? Because I got it in front of me.
Yeah, you give it a roll, and I've pulled it up here so that...
I got 99.
Oops. I can't move that across, unfortunately. 99.
99 is terrible. It says roll twice more on this table. Both results occur.
Wow.
If they are the same result, make it more dramatic. Blimey. So here we go again. We've got a 50. So a 50 is a true identity is revealed. Oh my goodness. That's exciting. And then the next one...
Oh, I'm on settlement trouble. Wrong thing.
The next one is 95. Unexpected powers or abilities are revealed. Oh my goodness! So a true identity and unexpected powers or abilities revealed. Oh my goodness! So maybe she does know who Caillou is. Maybe we don't.
Yeah. That would be so cool. Okay, just for context, who people who didn't watch the first session, Caillou is like just, in our opinion, the meekest sort of guy in the world. He just goes along with whatever we tell him. We rescued him from a situation, which is why he's kind of hung around with us. But we've just kind of bullied him this whole time. Like, he's constantly the butt of jokes. And so we're about to discover his true identity.
And I don't know what it is.
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Maybe, okay.
How about this?
I'm imagining he's half-elf, right?
That's what I was about to say. What if he is the child, maybe even the first child, born of Ironlander and elf?
Yes, that's amazing.
And not only an elf, but the elf queen.
Get to fuck.
So he's royalty. He's kind of prince of the elves.
Oh my goodness.
And we had no idea. He's essentially firstborn son, next in line to inherit. And, I imagine elves live quite a lot longer than humans, like in most fiction. I don't want to imagine they're kind of Lord of the Rings-esque immortal beings type thing. I think in our world, they have generations, and it's in history in not too long ago memory, but it's certainly a significant thing. So the idea of this half elf, half human thing, that's exciting.
So she obviously gives us this information. So imagine she says, Caillou, yes, that is a name I'm more than familiar with. Why do you ask? And
yeah, it's kind of a hushed tone. Like, what are you talking about? Our Prince Caillou, who's gone missing and we haven't seen in however long.
and we say, Caillou's...
Yeah, our friend Caillou. Yeah, go silly old Caillou.
At this point, I have no idea. So I go, oh, thank goodness you know him. Well, he's only got himself into some more bloody trouble. He's missing.
Just the face.
He's missing, and we don't know where he is. We were going to the glade to try and find him. You see, as a human magic user, yeah. And she's kind of like really staring with like
I
eyes
imagine
wide.
that perhaps he has some sort of distinguishing feature, because otherwise it could be any Caillou. Let's just retcon this quickly and say that he's got like a specific birthmark or something that distinguishes him as Caillou. Maybe, I don't know why, but I'm imagining like some sort of thing on his forehead, like a really distinct, strange marking or something that marks him as the Prince of the Elves. I'm thinking kind of antlers-esque, something.
Yeah.
But only one on one side, and it just looks like a bit of a weird sort of light discoloration. You only really notice it when you're up close, but he's got a kind of weird antler-esque shape here.
Oh, what about if he has kind of, you know, the Alteans in Voltron with their blue markings?
Yeah.
And it's the same color blue as the gowns we're wearing.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But it's very faint for him. Very faint.
Yeah. And we say, you know, he's gone missing, and we were looking for him. We were worried that he was taken hostage by those brutes that you saw in the glade who tried to ambush us.
You can't miss him. He's got a silly mark on his face, a blue. Caillou's his name, and yeah.
Her eyes are like wide, and she's like shocked. Yeah. It's clearly shocked at what we're saying.
Kind of drops her whatever she's holding, like
drops a bedpan, like.
And we're just like, oh, what's going on? You all right?
She goes, "You speak of this to no one, and you will come with me." And she kind of whisks us out of the tent.
Yeah, I imagine it's one of those things where she kind of gestures to any guards that she sees, come over here, and we get kind of wedged in by an armed escort of like you and we're like, oh shit, we're in trouble.
Yeah. We can't argue. We still don't have our fucking weapons or our armor or anything. We're in these like hospital gowns, you know?
Yeah. Just to make this even more negative, I want to make it clear here right now that maybe this branch of elves, this group that we're with now, are hostile towards Caillou, the prince, and the queen. Maybe he would be a very valuable political prisoner for them.
Oh, that's a...
We're not part of the realm where he's the prince. We're part of the realm that's against it.
That's good. That's kind of like...
And obviously this is all connected to the branch split.
That's kind of a good consequence for your matched failure, right?
Mm-hmm. So he's the heir to the eldest brother, who was the one who had the rumour against him. Oh, no, hang on, we need the other way around. So he's the heir to the Hollows branch of the family, which is what this faction is connected to. And that's why they knew all the story and stuff, and knew about the iron magic and stuff. Oh, and can you imagine that? The rumours that will abuzz of the one who started the rumour and incepted this idea of iron magic, and iron magic being terrible, his son being the prince. Yeah. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's not about the political divide there. Maybe the reason it's dangerous is because they have a magic human, which is the embodiment of iron blood to many people in this kind of community. Oh my god.
Wow, that was unexpected. So
Caillou's in danger.
Yeah. I would really like to have some more health for both of us. Is there any mechanical benefit for resting? Because we would have been there for, let's say in the fiction, about a day, just kind of out of it, receiving treatment. Is there any mechanical benefit, or am I trying to cheese?
I think that's part of the heal roll that we rolled earlier, isn't it? I imagine that for our characters, and all we want to do now is get out of here, find a tavern, find a bed, or even if I think we wanted originally maybe to stay here and hang out and rest up for a few days.
Yeah.
I think in this current situation, because of all this tension, we'll see where we end up. But the first thing our characters are going to want to do is go find somewhere to rest, but we can't right now.
Okay.
And what's interesting about that is it kind of limits us. So we're in no position to fight right now.
No.
The first thing we're going to want to try and do for ourselves is to get away from these guys and get to a bed, get to somewhere safe. But unfortunately, because of my stupid roll, that's not so easy right now. That's why it's such a nuisance.
Okay. We leave the medical tent. I'm going to roll a d6 to determine how many other tents there are in this, like, micro settlement of, magical scientists. They're kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not connect. In my mind, when I came up with their narrative, they weren't attached to a major town or a major settlement. They were kind of like on duty, stationed there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not like an established town. It's kind of an outpost.
Yes, so this is like they've just been stationed here and they settled so they could easily monitor and study the Ibrahim, Yeah,
I mean, they've only just realised, I think, that maybe this is even one of the first times he's actually fully appeared. They've only just realised that this is where his spirit has kind of found itself. Yeah, so it's all a very exciting time and the place is abuzz. And now hearing about Caillou, the rumoured son of the Queen, who is an embodiment of what they fear, iron magic. It's kind of like, I imagine, if we take a kind of example from what we see it as, like the Antichrist, the son of the devil sort of stigma. So, Damien is Caillou. Caillou is Damien. That is kind of the sort of level of, I guess, panic. But obviously I think the matron herself doesn't believe it. But having heard it from us just so randomly, it's kind of a bit like, that sort of weird part of herself that's skeptical is kind of shunted aside for a second, and she just needs to get answers as a scientist, right?
Yeah. Well, there's only one other tent, according to the role. So imagining the tent that we were in wasn't specifically a medical tent, but rather a sort of, that is where they do their research. The other one is, where they live, right?
Yeah. I imagine they only have a couple of guards here. It's not like a very well armed thing. It's just a couple of burly guys in their ornate uniforms, and it's quite a big tent that we're being taken to.
Yeah. So they take us into this.
So we come out from the smaller sort of rest tent that we were in. Big old forest all around us. Beautiful sunny day, nice and warm. Birds and bees and all sorts of nice noises. It'd be lovely if we weren't being pushed around by elves who may or may not think we're in league with the Antichrist.
So, yeah, they kind of take us into this other tent, and we get in there, and it's kind of a buzz with noise. There's numerous other elves kind of moving back from getting food. Some are moving cases, some are it's just busy. But when we enter, there's a kind of a hush, and people look as if to say, why are they here? Like, no one said they were going to be here, kind of thing.
They're not meant to be in the main tent, they should be patched up and sent off on their way, right? Like,
yeah, exactly that.
Matron's discretion.
And Anuna kind of makes this sort of hand signal, and somebody else comes over. I don't know who they are. And she kind of whispers something to them, And then his eyebrows raise as he stares at both of us.
Yeah, very, very,
He
very
goes,
sort of drawn, drawlish sort of thing. Okay.
yeah, this is kind of an elder person within the community. He's got kind of a long beard and white hair, like white long hair. And he goes, okay. Well, they mustn't leave, that's for certain. And we kind of
Jagger was just on the verge of saying, "Can we go?" I think he noticed me, Jagger, leaning forward to say, "Go."
Well, they mustn't leave, that is for certain. But until we know more information, we're going to have to. And how do they communicate to the larger territories? Do they send a raven? What's the communication system?
I imagine that they all have an orb in there, a sort of scrying orb that they communicate through. I mean, what do you think? Is magic that I mean, it's mundane for them. Why would they use birds unless when they can use magic?
Because that gives us time to escape before people...
Well, okay. I'll tell you what. We could roll to see if that's what happens, but there's plenty of opportunities to escape. It might be a lengthy process to summon the runes and communicate over that longer distance. It might take a while to set up, for example. But I don't think they'd use animals when they can use magic.
Yeah, okay, I think that's fair. He says, I will communicate with...
You get an elf name.
Yeah, I will communicate with Atani and see what she has to say. And I'm imagining that being their leader.
Would you, and it'll be something like, would you escort our guests to the, back to their tent and make sure they don't go anywhere?
Sure. I don't think it's going to be too hard to escape, right? Surely not.
Yeah, there's not that many elves here.
We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. I'm going to quickly, as Jagar, say, because I'm aware that we're in a bad state and that we might not be able to go anywhere. So I
don't think they want us to be aware, though. Like, yes, we are aware because we're smart people. We've been in this kind of situation before.
Yeah, Jagar knows when he's not allowed to go somewhere and what that implies.
But I like the idea of them trying to keep up this facade that you can leave any time you want, or not so much that, just kind of you're our guest.
We'll help you find your friend. Well, Matron might say that. We'll help you find your friend, and but I think both of us know that this is what it is, right? We're being held against our will.
Well, the good news is we're being held captive in a medical tent. There are worse places for us right now.
That's kind of what Jagar was thinking, and I think he's going to say, something along the lines of, we need, if you want us to help you, you're going to need to help us, and kind of indicate this big gaping wound that is still maybe just reopened, like from the stress of moving, because I have one of those from the big old root that came into me, and I am still on my last legs here. It's one of those. Yeah, he sees right through this guy, so stares right at him and says, "If you want us to help you, you're going to have to help us."
And he kind of gives you this look whilst twisting his beard, like as if to say, humans and the trouble they get themselves into.
Yeah, I imagine there's a very patronising look at humans, like, oh, those kids, those dang youngsters.
always falling over, grazing their knee, So yeah, he goes, well, of course, you are, after all, our guests of honour.
I think,
and there's
maybe
the kind
will
of
speak up and say, I don't know what the elder's name is, but something along the lines of, they were attacked by, him. They're not going to say who it is, the spirit, but it must hurt these poor humans. There's some empathy there. I think that these are magical injuries. These aren't just normal cuts. These are cuts from a great elf spirit. They must know that's a big deal, you know. And there's probably some sense of responsibility there, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so he kind of goes, "Of course. Well, you are our guest of honor," and there's this kind of menace behind the way he says "guests of honor," you know. And we kind of think, "Oh, okay, right. Well, we're stuck here, and I want my sword back." But yeah, that's what happens. So okay. So I think we should do a little bit of a time skip to maybe.
Yeah, we'll have like there's probably a little conversation between the two of us when we're back in the thing. Like, should we break out? I can't, dude. I'm not feeling it. You know, I'm gonna die if I try and break out.
So do you want to like have a night's rest?
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I haven't found any rules in Ironsworn about how to sort of do a time skip rest type thing, you know, or how long you need to be resting to get health back. The only thing I could think is you could do like a heal roll a day or something like that, maybe a heal and a sojourn a day. Kind of that's what you're doing. You're spending every day just healing, requesting help, healing, requesting help. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think we should, as we wake up, we should perform another roll because, you know, that's the purpose of us coming here. You know, otherwise we'll just die.
Yeah, I mean, what we could do is we could do a big old hard reset and say that, you know, these guys are quite far out from the thing. We could just say we're here for enough days that we're healed up. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, if this game had a GM, I'm assuming the GM would cut us some slack at this point. So I don't see why we wouldn't allow ourselves to have a fucking break, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I think we're in a situation where there's not much going on around the world behind the scenes that is relevant to that time other than where's Caillou? Yeah.
Gosh, I didn't expect the session to take us here.
Okay, let's heal ourselves up then.
To full,
One thing I will say is we probably don't want to heal our spirits up though, because we are captives.
Well, my spirit's 5,
Your
baby.
spirit's fine, but I think Jagar's still a bit on edge for this whole thing. You know, he wants to be free. I don't think he is going to heal his spirit at all. One thing we could do. I kind of like doing the rolls, actually, because it kind of gives a bit of flavour of how we heal and whether we get totally to full health. But if we say we give ourselves a certain number of rolls, that would probably be the way to do it.
Okay. Sure.
So I wasn't heal. Let's say, how many days would you say we end up time skipping here then?
Maybe 2.
Oh, only 2. Okay.
Well, how long did you have in mind?
I thought we'd probably be here. Maybe because it'll take time to set up the runes and then a day organising for the people that are going to come here and talk to us and interrogate us. Then maybe 2 days travel, and then obviously they get here, but they're not going to necessarily straight away. So I was thinking 3 or 4 probably.
I just rolled a d6, which gave us 6. So I don't know what you want to do with that.
6 days it is.
6 days it is, baby.
I'm happy with that. 6 days. So roll 6 times on heal. Here we go. Boom. That's a weak hit, so
you roll them plus your wits, yeah.
Yeah, which is plus 3. Although, hang on, 2. Is there? Wait, somebody's healing us. So no, it's if you're mending room. Okay, yeah. So that's 2 health. 2
nice.
Health. 2 health. Strong hit.
I'm back up to 4 already.
Oh wait, hang on. We're meant to suffer minus supplies or momentum, aren't we? So I'll just say it's 1 health for each of those, because 1 momentum is 1 health for my character at the moment. So it was 1, 2, 3 health, plus 2 health now for this strong hit. Let's just do that. 1, 2. Okay, so it would be a health and a cost of momentum, so it would be like that. 3 and a health. 3. Oh my god. Sorry, guys. Have you seriously scrolled down? Well done, me. There we go. 3 and a half. That's the 3 days. Takes down momentum. Then I got 2 health, so that's 1, 2, and then 2 more to go. Another strong hit. Oh, it's an even. That's nice. I think that's pretty cool. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to take 2 momentum as well because that's an even and that's the reset value. And we'll roll 1 more time. For some reason it's not letting me change my health. I don't know why. That one's a miss. Yeah. I'm not going to pay the price for that miss because it's a time skip thing. And I'm lazy. I can't be bothered.
Cool.
I'll take the miss as that's why my spirits haven't risen at all. That I'm just feeling utterly miserable on that last day by the end of it all. But I don't know why I can't heal my health. I'll just have to try and remember that I'm on +2 health.
You really can't mend your health?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Maybe you died.
Could be.
Yeah, you just have to track that somewhere else.
Yeah, I'll try and figure it out next time. But yeah, I'm on 2 health. I'll just put that here. Look. Good. Oh, sorry. I've done all this without shrinking our screens down, so we've been on the big screens. Sorry, guys. I'll show you now. We're on 2 health down here. 2 health at the bottom there. And I'm on +2 momentum now on Jagger. Yeah. Brilliant. Didn't get to see any of the rolls I did.
Okay, should we flesh out some of these elves that we've become a little bit more familiar with over these 6 days, right?
Yeah, that'd be fun. So the matrons who are our kind of main chat is with, I don't think we really were allowed to venture out. Like, oh, sorry. 1 sec. Bear with me. Just having to mute myself for a sec. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Yeah, the matron's probably our main source of contact. What I'd like to see is probably one of us roll to see if we form a bond.
Yeah, so her name is Anuna. Let's also roll for a character descriptor and maybe her motivation as well, a character goal.
That'd be nice.
So her character goal is 62. To enrich themselves.
Okay, I like that. For her, is that with knowledge or with wealth?
Well,
does she want to become, or is it both?
Well, she is a scientist.
Hmm.
So I'm getting the idea that she's actually kind of good-natured as well. But we'll see the character descriptor in a moment. Ready? 66.
Artistic. Okay, so it's not just about science. It's about a kind of science as art type thing, that she wants to understand the world and turn it into something that kind of transcends. Maybe they view science in a completely different way to how we do. You know, because for them, magical is mundane.
That is exactly what I had in mind when I imagined her. Anyway. That's perfect because, yeah, like for us, science and magic are like opposite, but for her,
hey, panda.
Hey,
sorry, I said panda. Panda.
But for the elves, to study the natural world is to study magic. You know, so it's the same. It's the same thing in their eyes. Okay, So I feel like we got to know her. Do you think we've done anything worthy of forming a bond, or?
Well, it's kind of inevitable that if she's the one in charge of us every day, she's like our only communication with people. I imagine that for your character. Oh, well, here's the thing. One of us is going to be kind of probably more chatting with her, and one of us might even make friends with the guards or not, you know? They're people too, and so it makes sense that there's a potential for forming bonds there for both of us.
I feel like you need to go through some shit to form a bond, you know?
Okay.
But I like the idea that she's friendly with us. I'd like the idea specifically that she finds...
spends significant time with a personal community.
I like the idea that she finds our human sense of humour, like, hilarious, you know? That's the kind of person that she is. Maybe we can sort of leverage that. So I like the idea that today is the day that that Athena, Athene, who's the leader, today's the day that her cronies are turning up to find information, right, and to take us away. So we've really got to we catch wind of this, and I feel like we've kind of montaged that out. We should now kind of focus in and start planning how we're gonna get out of here, right?
Yeah. So we've kind of picked up that today's the day, and we're like, so should we make a break for it?
And I go, not without my fucking sword.
So let's do a quick gather information roll, see if we know where our equipment's being kept.
Sure. Do you want to do that, or do you want me?
Yep, I'll do that. Yep, we know. Strong hit. You discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow, or the action you must take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn. Ask your shall take 2 momentum, baby. Well, I did that earlier, so that's fine. I won't take the momentum for now.
I didn't take it.
Yeah, I think we know where our stuff is, and not only do we know where our stuff is, but we kind of just, this isn't a big camp. We know where everything is in it. You know, it's all really clear. Like the equipment is kept like within the main tent, kind of to the right, just straight away in a kind of little room-esque type thing, you know?
Okay. So I sort of say to you, how are we going to get in there and get out without being noticed? There's too many people.
Well, my idea would be you make a distraction, I'll sneak in, grab the stuff, we meet back up and Scarpa.
What if we could have our stuff handed back to us? I mean, Anuna's not a bad person. If she felt like we were in danger, maybe she would take sympathy and let us sneak out the back. Or is that complete wishful thinking? Have I been in this fucking bed for too long?
Hey, I think trying to get Anuna to bring us our stuff, even just so that we can, you know, say we want to face the high ups with our clothes and our gear. She'd probably just bring the swords. She's you know, she wouldn't even think twice.
Okay, well, it's early sunrise. She'll be in to bring our breakfast within the hour. Let us prepare. Let me do the talking, though.
Yeah, I think that's best. If she says no, we go with my plan.
Of course. Well, we don't have much choice, do we? With that...
And if all else fails, let's just knock them out.
I kind of give you a look like... We've been here before. We've been in worse situations.
So we kind of sit there in a bit of anticipation, waiting. Today's the day. It's gonna happen.
Sorry, I'm getting a call. Can we pause the stream for literally 2 minutes?
Yeah, I'll just put us on the title stream. Alternatively, I can mute you and keep talking, but I'm going to BRB myself. So we're just going to take a quick 5, guys. When we return, we will be doing the escape. And I'll tell you what, I think we should make it a scene as well. Go for how that works. That's quite fun.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 seconds. And we're back. Yes, so sorry about the delay there. We're going to lose Norm for a second while he fixes his setup, and then we'll get started. So I'm going to make Norm disappear. Anything you want to say, Norm?
No, and just need 5 minutes to maybe less to just quickly fix this, and then I'll be ready to go and escape this camp.
Okay, let me just kill your stream 1 sec. There he goes. We've lost Norm. Oh no. Can you just try talking, Norm, so we're not picking up your background swearing and grunts, and let's see if that appears.
Can you hear me?
No, I don't think you're coming out. So you just got me for a moment, guys, while Norm's box gets rejigged and he comes back with a completely different backdrop and different environment. I figured that would be more fun than the music. So we're not sure whether to do a scene or not for this. I think it would be a really cool idea. I like the way scenes work in Ironsworn, but we could just kind of riff it out. If you have a preference, let us know in chat. I should point out at this point, I never know how many people are viewing. I don't have the number on my setup anywhere, so if I'm just talking to myself, great. If I'm talking to 1,000 people, I have no idea. But do feel free to comment anything you want in chat, and we'll take any suggestions as well that you have for the story. Exciting stuff. I've just thrown out a message in the Ironsworn Discord, so if we get anyone come over from there, then that'll be lovely. Say hi, guys, and yeah. I've got Norm on the other screen. I see him walking around trying to find his his new space. I should just surprise him and put his cam back on for you. Okay. So just a quick recap of the session so far for anyone who is just joining us. What has happened is Jagar the Dagger, that's my character, and Harold the Breaker, that's Norm's character, have just woken up from their horrible encounter with the Hollow that they had last session, where Jagar was almost killed, one away from completely dying, and and we've been rescued by a group of elves. Now, these elves were researching, they're kind of scientists, researching the glade, the magical glade where the Hollow appeared. And it turns out this Hollow is a spirit of an old elf king. I think he's the kind of brother of the kind of main head of the family that was ruling this land. And they kind of made a branch dynasty that created, I mean, he himself, the Hollow Spirit King, created a rumour to try and, I guess, seize power and sow dissent amongst the brother and his household and the followers, so that he'd get more support and more, presumably, power and entitlement. This rumour kind of twisted and morphed and became almost the basis of what would be essentially a religion. It was that there is a special form of magic called iron magic, which is nasty and evil, and that the head brother, the king, was practicing it. Now, the way that relates to our guys is we are currently searching for our friend, who is a magic user, and a human magic user, which is very rare in this land. There are only a few humans. We've only just sort of arrived a few, maybe 1 or 2 generations ago, and magic users have only just started to be born. What's worse is that he is our friend is the son of the kind of descendant of the current ruler of this land, who is the descendant of this elf spirit. So he is kind of in a prince, firstborn, entitled to the kingdom, but being half human, he is almost the embodiment of this iron magic, since the humans are seen as being the kind of wielders of iron, if that makes sense. And that's seen with a certain stigma and distrust. So it's a lot of very complicated stuff, but what it boils down to is essentially our friend who we are looking for, and that's our vow to find, or at least Harold's vow to find. Jagar, not so much, but he's his friend. He's along for trying to find him too. That he is kind of almost the Antichrist of the elf kingdom. And with that little summary, I'm going to bring back Harold the Breaker, Mage Norm. We should have our character names under here as well. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it, for future streams? Put our character names and a little picture to sum them up.
Yeah, I think so.
The dagger for Jagger. And
am I back with you now?
You are back on the stream.
Wicked. I'm just going to bring this stream up.
Professional streamers here. It's our first time ever using OBS to stream. Second time streaming on Twitch for me and Norm. So it's all very new and exciting to us. If there are any problems, forgive me. And let's start the scene. I think we should be a scene. I think it should be a scene.
Okay, sure thing.
So I'm going to
you're
shrink
going
it
to
back
have to
down to
walk
the
me
corner
through.
and we'll dive in to pull up a progress track. So the way scenes work in this is you have a progress track that's kind of the timer and a progress track that's the task. So our task that we're trying to achieve is escape the camp. Right? I would say it's a dangerous task.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're at a bit of a disadvantage because we haven't got our gear, but they're also not a very big camp. Like, with gear, we'd be able to slip out no problem. So the main thing is kind of, thank you. I keep reading it as Panana Republic. Thank you for forgiving me. Yeah, so the main aim is just to get our stuff back. Once we've done that, we'll be almost home clear. So I think dangerous is a fair setting. And then the timer will be ticking along as well. Once the timer reaches 4, then we resolve it, no matter how much progress we've made. So our aim is to try and make as much progress as we can within 4 times. Units of time.
4 units of time. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do that by making moves, which we'll do in a moment.
So I imagine the first thing we need to do is Anuna is going to come in with our kind of bowls of porridge for the morning, and we're going to strike up a conversation with her. She walks in and she says, good morning, fair humans. I don't know. And I kind of laugh at her attempt of humour, but it's not funny, obviously. And I say, and good morning to you too, Anuna. How are you today? She goes, oh, I'm splendid. As you guys know, we're being blessed with Atina, our.
You notice as well, I think, that her hair and stuff is all very well done today. It's not a style she's used. She's usually kind of a bit rough and sort of almost ponytail-esque type thing. But she's wearing very, very neat robes today. All her sort of ornate stuff, and her hair. She's a bit excited. You know, it's a big day.
Yeah. She says, I'm very excited to meet Atina, if I can, even from afar. And I go, yes, we are also excited to help you in any way we can. You look lovely today, by the way, Luna. And she says, well, you have to make a special effort when you meet someone of higher class than yourself. And I say, I could not agree more.
We've both been really worried, in fact, that we were just talking, weren't we, Harold?
Yes.
About how this isn't what we normally wear. We're not being honest to our hosts.
And she says, whatever do you mean? You're in our finest patient gown. And
would you be seen in the finest patient gown?
And she says, oh, I see what you're saying. I think that's a trigger for a compel. What would you say?
Yes, absolutely. I think you should make the roll here. I'll pull the move up so we can see. And this is going to be part of.
Well, you were kind of helping. Do you want to do like an aid your ally?
Oh yes, I'll do an aid roll and then you do a compel roll. That sounds good. So the move I'll make is aid your ally. Never made this before. It's my first time ever making aid your ally roll. I love it. I'm going to call you Banana Republic from now. Aid your ally. Secure an advantage for ally. If you score a hit. Oh, secure an advantage. That's what we're making, isn't it?
Yeah.
Secure an advantage for your ally. So I'm going to be rolling with charm. Not my guy's strongest. Oh no, deception. right?
Yeah.
Deception, without a doubt.
You can
for
kind of
sure.
twist the mechanism, the fiction to. You can frame.
Well, I'm lying. I'm saying I want to be wearing these clothes. I'm trying to be believable.
Yeah.
So my roll is 4 plus my shadow, which is summary 2 makes me on a 6, which is just enough for a weak hit.
8.
Which means your advantage is short-lived. Take +1 momentum.
That's good.
Oh no, because I'm doing it for an aid your ally, so it's different, isn't it? This is why I don't know this, but when you secure an advantage for an ally and score a hit, they, instead of you, can take the benefits of the move. So you get the momentum.
Sure.
Does that count as one of the moves?
I wouldn't say. I mean,
No.
we can. This is the main move, right?
Yeah, I don't think that does. I don't think that's a time thing.
Oh dear.
What did you roll?
I rolled an equal miss.
Okay, and this was for your compel roll, right?
Yeah, so on compel, it says, on a miss, they refuse or make a demand which costs you greatly. Pay the price.
Uh-huh.
Oh, dear me. So pay the
Okay,
price.
and it's
I'm going to roll on the Oracle for pay the price. 50. A new danger or foe is revealed.
interesting.
Do you...
Oh, so maybe they refuse because the people are already here, or I don't know. What do you think? Or the old guy comes in.
Yes, the old guy definitely comes in.
There we go.
She kind of. I don't like the idea that she outright refuses. I like the idea that because of the situation, she has to refuse. You know?
Yeah, she's kind of mulling it over, and just as she's kind of almost about to say, "Yeah, I suppose we could get your stuff," he comes in.
Yeah. Should we give him a name?
Yeah, he definitely deserves a name.
Yeah. Do you want to bring up an Oracle? Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, I'll roll for the Oracle. I found this immediately earlier, and I've did it again. Fantastic.
Elf names.
Intuit the rolls on the rulebook now because you spend so much time searching through it, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, when I do names, I often use the fantasy name generator online rather than the Oracle, but we'll do the Oracle for today.
I've been trying to use the Oracle a lot more because
5.
the more I use it, the more I think it's very good, you know?
So we've got Bellasuna.
Bellasuna. Okay.
That seems quite
Feminine?
quite a feminine name to me. Should we make it Bellasun?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it could be. I mean, feminine name's fine if we want to give him a feminine name. That's totally cool.
I think Bellasun is fine.
Bellasun. Bellasun. Bellasun arrives, beard flowing, more magnificent than ever.
Yeah, he's in like a really what's the one I'm looking for? He's in a really like elaborate sort of cape and gown, you know? And you can barely make out his arms. You can just see his hands poking out of this long, flowy gown. And he kind of walks in, and he's like,
He's
the
so
day of
proud
fate.
of himself right now, emanating pride, and he feels like he is the top dog right now.
He says, the day of fate has arisen for our guests of honor.
Yes, like it's the most important day for him ever.
Yeah.
I have had the honor this morning of receiving a special rune call from.
This guy's a fucking jerk.
And why aren't the prisoners? Not prison. Why aren't our guests already escorted to the antechamber?
At which point, is he guarded? Like, can we just beat him up?
I think we've got the usual sort of posts on the door, but he's not like surrounded. You know, they haven't got the manpower for it.
Okay. What's the plan here? Like, where do we go from here?
Plan B. Maybe we could try and compel this guy, but I think we both know that's kind of a lost cause. He hasn't been in once. We only saw him the first day we got here, and that is it. You know.
He says, "Why aren't they in the chamber?" And Anuna kind of stutters. Well, I was about, and I was actually just, and I sort of chime in to help her, and I say, we were just being escorted. Anuna was just coming in to let us know that we were escorted to our special chambers for your wonderful leader. And he goes, what does he go? Is this another move, or?
I think it's one of these. Well, we need to be ready. We need to be prepared. I think maybe there's a kind of appraising look from him. I think part of him, he wants to dress us up even more. You know, I think that's my first feeling is that he wants it to look like, you know, he's taken really good care of us and almost made us into mini elves. You know, like he's maybe he wants to get us in fresh clothes or make us wear funny hats. I don't know, something. You know.
Okay. Does he vocalize that at all, or?
Should we roll for it?
I'd say it's a 50-50.
Yeah, let's give it a 50-50 roll.
He does vocalize that.
Oh, you've rolled.
Yeah, just to make it.
So, I've set aside some appropriate clothing for them. We can't have them in patient gowns after all, and they will be wearing ceremonial attire. I think it's appropriate, don't you?
And I go, of course.
Yeah, quite. Will we be allowed privacy to change? I'll say, almost in a mock way, will we be allowed privacy to change?
He, sugar. He kind of tuts as if to say, "How dare you question my hospitality?" He goes, but of course.
One sec. I'm just going to quickly. We didn't mark progress for the time, so we probably should have. We didn't make any progress on escaping, but time has definitely gone by.
Sure. And then he sort of orders everybody to leave except for Anuna, who has to. I don't know. Just make it's normal for her to be around naked patients, right? She's the matron. She's used to that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, are we being shown to the clothes, or are the clothes being brought to us? Then are we going?
I like the idea that the clothes are brought to us.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
So you're, I'd imagine almost a squire type thing, not squire, but assistant, yeah. And then in comes the sort of dog's body carrying the.
I like that.
Carrying them in the sort of carrying the stately robes. There we go. And they are robes. They aren't just like we were wearing before. You mentioned at the start, like a sort of nice embroidered top and trousers type thing. It was that sort of thing, wasn't it? I don't think it was robes before.
It was like a gown, like a patient's gown.
Okay. Well, these are robes. These are like fancy. These are way above normal things you just hand out to a prisoner.
These are like a fine silk.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that happens. I want to maybe ask Anuna about what he was talking about, what chamber, and find out about that. Do you think that's a priority, or do you think we should start making
taken type thing? Yeah, that'd be good. It's kind of, I guess, gather information to work out where we can plan when we're going to make our escape, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Just quickly looking at the scenes thing, because it could be. Perhaps it's secure an advantage.
Secure an advantage.
Yeah. I imagine you're sort of trying to work out the best plan in the situation. And you're doing that by gathering information, but you're plotting the route out in your head, right?
Yeah. So maybe I'm doing this with observation, rolling my wits, would you say?
Yeah. Yeah, expertise, insight, and observation.
I got a weak hit.
Brilliant. So you'll be taking 1 momentum, and your advantage is short-lived.
Okay, so imagine she says... So this chamber that you made up, Scruffy, what is it? What does she say?
It's essentially like a room set back from the main sort of foyer of the tent. It's kind of I imagine it's sort of like in the tent there are almost pillars that have sort of boarding up that kind of makes it sort of not visible from the outside, and there's kind of a curtain that leads you in there. I don't imagine it's a particularly grand place here. It's probably not used to many readings. It's kind of a congregation area, maybe even doubling as a mess hall, somewhere to eat.
Yeah.
But obviously that's all been kind of cleared aside for today, and some seats have been laid out on the on the floor, and it's all dolled up. A few decorations put up over the last few days, flowers and wreaths and stuff like that to make it look even nicer. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's in the main tent. So just quickly, you scored a weak hit, which means when you make a move on secure, you are successful and mark progress, but also encounter a minor complication or delay. Envision what happens and mark a countdown box to represent this setback. So when you get this information, that's what's going to happen. We'll be doing dangerous task is 1 tick, isn't it?
I can't remember. Do you want to check the reference?
Yeah, I think it's 2 ticks. I'll check while you just quickly fiction this for us.
Okay, so she explains exactly what you said. She says, "Oh, he calls it a chamber. You know what he's like. Everything must be the fanciest, but it's just our old mess hall, really. It's not used very much anymore, but it's where you're going to be kept and before you're presented to Atina and give her the information that she will." And I say, so where is it? I've not seen this before. And she says, well, as you walk in and you have the the main area, the main foyer where we've kept your items. If you go straight past that and just to the right, it's exactly there. So you'll be there, and that's where you'll remain. And I say, and if I don't want to remain there, she says, well, unfortunately, there will be guards on the door. But I don't know why you wouldn't want to meet Atina. But yeah,
no, this is a treat. I mean, not many people get to meet Atina. She's she's a member of the committee. She's a member of the what would you call it?
She's a noble.
She's a noble. Yeah. That's it. She's not a member of the committee. She's of the noble house, and she's very high up in our society. Yeah.
And I say, no, of course. I just meant, to go to the bathroom, for example. Am I going to be followed? Am I a prisoner? And she says, well, do you need to go to the bathroom?
That's exactly what she said. And that conversation kind of eats up a bit of our time.
So we put the clothes on.
Yeah.
And she begins escorting us past the main foyer and into this area.
Right. While we're being taken through the courtyard area, I would like to just see if it would be possible to sort of bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Jagar, that is his temptation, going along. He just wants to get out of here.
Okay. Yeah.
Although I am aware we need to get our stuff, so maybe not in the courtyard. Maybe as soon as we get into the foyer area, he's going to want to try and just get that stuff, right?
Yeah. And sneak out the back.
Yeah. So looking for an opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that's good.
We'll I don't know what I'd roll for that.
Maybe secure an advantage.
Yeah, I'll roll secure an advantage, and I'll try and do it with same as you, essentially the same roll you did. But as we go into the thing, I'm looking to try and make a break for our stuff because we're passing the sort of turn to that little space. We know the layout really well, don't we?
We know where our stuff is as well. That's like it's just
what opportunity? No, I did not do very well. That's a miss. My assumptions betray me. So I think it's going to be one of these situations. I'll just quickly mark the problem on here as well. I think I've upset us more than I've helped us there. So what happens is, as we go in, I think that we go in, the guards stay at the door behind us. We've just got Matron with us. I think it's just she's watching you. You two are in a conversation. I can just go. There's no one here. These guys aren't prepared for this, and I literally just dart to the right as quickly and quietly as possible, thinking I'm going to get away with it, and you guys are just going to carry on. Problem is, I did not see the the rest of the people, not guards, but just sort of people milling about doing their stuff in my immediate vicinity, and I just bowl into all of them.
Wow.
And kind of take them out, which is not ideal. Yeah, I think it's kind of just a complete blind spot moment where I dart in to, I guess, who'd be milling around, who'd be excited, anyone from this sort of group, a researcher, a dog's body person, yeah. Maybe even the same guy that brought us our clothes. He's just sort of returned in. He's doing a bit of maintenance on the thing, and he turns the kind of corner as I go, and we just crash into each other and tumble onto the floor.
Wow.
Which doesn't engender good vibes, because now it's kind of really obvious that Jagger wants to get out of here. How does Harold react to that?
Does he kind of? Is there like a ruckus cause? Does he ask you what you're doing? What happens in the fiction?
Okay, in the fiction, so I dart, run, head down, sort of sneaky, and almost kind of rugby tackle by mistake this guy to the floor, and we kind of land awkwardly together.
So I imagine the guards...
eyes turn, heads snap round, Matron, what's going on, you know? And he obviously just goes, ow!
Okay. The guards, obviously the guards look at you, right?
Yeah, the guards that just followed us in turn immediately, flap open the thing and come straight over to pick me up. And
do they have any weapons on them, the guards?
Yeah, they have just very nice elvish blades at their side.
I might try and take one.
Nice. While all eyes are on me making
While
the
all eyes are on you, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and take one. What would that be?
Secure an advantage.
Secure an advantage. And I'm trying to do it with stealth.
It could be face danger, but I think it's secure an advantage, right?
I think that's good. I'm trying to do it with stealth, which is unfortunate because I rolled shadow, which is only 1. But do I get any bonus because I'm... No, it's fine. I guess
What's your momentum at the moment?
My momentum's 5.
Oh, so if you roll any lower than 5, you can burn momentum. So.
I rolled on my challenge dice a 6 and a 3.
Okay.
And on my action dice a 1.
Well, you could burn the momentum, so reset your momentum to 2, and you'll get a weak hit.
Okay, I think I'm going to do that.
What that does is your 5 momentum will beat the 3 dice. It won't beat the 6 dice, but it'll beat the 3 dice.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
I think it's a good time to do it, for sure. Which gives you a weak hit, which means...
Your advantage is short-lived, take +1 momentum. Fine. So
you get the blade in the fiction.
But they spin round and notice me do it, right? At this point, I'm going to immediately grab a Nuna from the back and put the blade to her throat. And I say, nobody fucking move.
Nice! Just so you know, we've hit the 4 timer at that point.
Wow.
What a time for that, right? Which means the scene for the escape has come to an end. We now roll to see if we succeed at the scene. So I'm going to roll with these dice. We're trying to beat... well, we've got 4 is kind of our roll, so we need lower than 4 with the d10s. The d6s.
I don't think it's going to happen, but let's cross our fingers.
You ready? Oh no! So close! We got a 4 and a 9, so if that was a 3, we'd have been okay. That's a miss. Just a miss. Just a miss. Nearly a weak hit. So on a miss, you fail or your progress is undermined by a dramatic or costly turn of events. Pay the price. Make it hurt.
So I think this is pretty obvious, right? They're going to cast some magic on me, like...
Oh, fuck, I forgot they can do magic.
They're going to be like, you
yeah,
idiot.
the swords are ceremonial more than anything. They're not even iron. They're kind of...
Maybe even a Nuna, like, just flings me off with, like, just... I don't know.
Yeah, I think the price is going to be pretty obvious, isn't it? You've lost all friendship with that person.
Yeah, and now we can't really escape, right?
I don't know. That's not what it says.
Yeah.
But the timer has elapsed, which means the people have arrived. I think that's what the timer kind of was, wasn't it?
That could be the price as well. They arrive like, what is going on here?
Yeah, like... And here we are in this horrible situation, which means that, yeah, I think, okay, here's what happens. So you grab Anuna with your lovely elven, I think it's made of silver blade. She casts some sort of force spell that just pushes you right back onto your ass. Meanwhile, the guards roughly pull me to my feet. I'm like... arms under me, and the poor sort of assistant guy dusts himself off and mutters to himself and curses in Elvish. As that happens, out of the antechamber comes storming Beardy. What's his name? Bellison.
Bellison,
yeah. Bellison comes being like, what's going on? And then trumpets announce the arrival in the camp of the entourage. And Bellison's eyes light with panic. This isn't what he wanted at all. And so immediately his decision is, we need to save face. And he goes, bring them in here quickly and quietly.
We kind of get pushed in.
I think he almost tells... sorry, I've already forgotten her name. The matron off for pushing you onto the floor. He looks at the robes we're in. They're dirty. It's all going wrong. Yeah. Okay. No problem. So we're kind of ushered in to the room. I think his actual first thought of looking at us as we go in is, we need to delay. We've got to clean these guys up.
This is good, actually. It's not the worst thing in the world, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel like we're paying the price enough.
Do you not?
I mean,
we didn't
maybe
escape, and you've made an enemy of.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
I think that's the price that we've specifically paid. She was our friend. She was a potential ally. We could have maybe even forged a bond with her. Nope.
No, not
I think you get one glimpse at her being scolded and told off by Bellison. She looks, you makes eye contact with you as you're ushered through, and there's kind of, it makes your heart sink because it's almost like she's offended and shocked and hurt. Like, you know, she thought you were better than that, but you've just confirmed all the sort of boogeyman fears of what humans are like. You know, she was like. She's always been, you know, growing up, telling people you can't judge them harshly just because they're humans, and she's been, you know, really almost just the way she saw this all happening was that we'd meet the people, we'd be sent on our way, we'd help them, they'd help us, they'd maybe even share some elf secrets with us, and we'd be friends forever. Not anymore. Just you can just see that all that lovely optimism gone, and just
Yeah, it's kind of it is a bit naive though. You know, they're obviously not going to let us go afterwards.
No, but she didn't know that. And if they had not done it, if they had been, nasty to us or wanting to take us somewhere else, she might have stood up for us and tried to help out, but not anymore.
Yeah, like she'd have lots of power, but I get what you mean. It is kind of disappointing. Okay. So we get taken into the main foyer or into our chamber, or...
We're taken to the sort of foyer area, and because they're all arriving, I think what's going to happen is, from their perspective, they're going to try and host them somewhere and maybe do something before they meet us, and then
Okay.
But I think it doesn't work. I think in the end, it's going to boil down to, no, they want to see us straight away. He has to kind of swallow his pride, and they're all kind of led in to the antechamber with us stood there, in
dirty robes,
bedraggled, ripped, cold stares from all around. Guards very close, surrounding both of us.
So is Athena, with the entourage immediately?
Yeah.
Okay. So she walks in.
Thank you, Strider Paul. I'm glad you joined us. Have a nice one.
So she kind of walks in and says, "Oh, what's happened here?" And gestures towards our muddy ceremonial robes.
And I think Bellisum will just be, well, it's these humans, isn't it? They you know what they're like. We all know what humans are like.
Hush, now. And he looks like really pissed off, like
scowls at us. Yeah.
Yeah. Hush now. I wasn't talking to you. And then she looks over at us and says, well, what happened here? Are you going to talk or am I going to talk?
I think Jagger's going to say, we don't appreciate being kept in chains.
She looks a little bit shocked and she says, chains? I see no chains on you. Are you exaggerating as humans do, or are you telling the truth?
Chains don't have to be physical to be real. I'm sure you know that.
She says, yes, quite. So have they not treated you favourably? And she kind of looks accusingly at Bellison, as if she's genuinely offended that we would have been treated poorly.
Yeah, I think she expected us to be all, grateful and meek and happy, and
Yeah. And Bellison tries to chime in again and says, well, the thing is, and she, with a death stare,
yeah.
Yeah. And he immediately stops talking. And we say, I'm going to play up to this a lot. I'm going to say we were not treated well at all. In fact, it was rare we were allowed out to see the sun.
I think you're underselling it, Harold. We weren't allowed out. And for us humans, I don't know how it is with elves, but imprisonment is torture. We were tortured.
We continued to ask what crime we had committed, but they wouldn't tell us. It seems our only crime is being human.
I guess
being
the realm
vulnerable.
of the elves is a lawless realm. We humans value law.
Bellison says, "How dare!"
Yeah, I think there's fire, almost literally appearing in front of him.
And she goes, "You once again forget your place, Bellison.
And her icy stare puts the fire right out.
And
but his beard is singed.
And she goes, how can we get off to a better start? I will rely on your help. How may we smooth this over? This is good, right?
Yeah, I think this is exactly how it would. Yeah, for real.
And I would like to ask for our stuff back.
Yep. But yeah, I think that's totally makes sense. So Harold says that, yeah?
Yeah, I say, this is not us. These are our prison clothes. We, as with any free people, we need our own possessions, our own clothes, and it's been confiscated from us. And she goes, is this true?
Roll to compel.
Yeah.
Roll to compel.
Yeah, I think I should roll to compel. I'm going to do it with heart, I think. This heart, would you say?
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? Compel is with heart anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm charm, pacify. I'm not threatening, and I'm not... Oh, I'm lying, though.
No, you're not.
No?
Bartering.
I'm
bartering.
Okay, my heart is plus
because we're in this position. I think we both believe it, and it's true that we were held prisoner. You're not like we're playing it up a little bit. You know, we were looked after, we were cured, and they saved my life. But in this moment, that's not important.
Okay, it's got a weak hit.
Okay, so as above, so they'll do what you want or share what they know. Take +1 momentum. If you use this to gather information, no, but they ask something in return. Okay, that makes sense, doesn't it? So immediately, I think she's going to say, of course, you should have your clothes. However, there are more pressing concerns. We need something from you. We need information about your friend.
Okay.
Once we've discussed that, we can give you your clothes. And we can return to you your effects.
Oh, this is horrible.
Well, how about this?
I just want to go to a tavern.
Perhaps just an agreement that we should all discuss what we know, and you can tell us what you know would be enough to return your clothes to you.
And I say, of course. Are we going to do so in the presence of our captors, or in a more fitful place for a leader of your stature? I'm essentially saying I want everybody else out.
She says I think she takes a moment to look around and is sort of nonplussed by the area, but she doesn't really care where we are. I think there's a moment where she looks at Bellison and says, "Yes, I think we can do without a few of the hangers-on."
I love how she's just taken an immediate dislike to this slimy dude. It's awesome.
I think he's just crestfallen, like.
He hates humans now, right?
And specifically us.
Specifically us.
Yeah. Okay, so after a bit of rejigging, Bellison's kind of sent to do other tasks and see to making sure the horses are fed and watered and all the sort of tasks he would consider completely beneath him. Sent off for a coffee. I guess the why have I got such a blank for her name?
Anita?
Sorry?
Anuna?
Yeah, I think
matron?
Aluna will be kind of kept around because she's had the most direct contact with us and she's the first one who heard the story. I think she's almost reluctant, like, you know, would rather actually be anywhere else but nearby us because she's seething.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think she'd try to interrupt the conversation though after what happened to Bellison.
No, I do think a part of her, though, you know, the realist side will be kind of wrestling with it and understanding. You know, I think she's a very empathetic person. I think we both, you know, both kind of agree on that. So I think to some extent she'll kind of be making justifications in her head for why you did what you did. And while she doesn't like you personally, I think she's taken a step back from applying it to all humans. It's not, you know, it's an anecdotal experience, and I think she knows that.
How? Give me 2 seconds. I think we should flesh out Anita a little bit, the leader.
Oh, well, give her some motivations and stuff like we did with...
Yeah.
I tell you what, doing that really does help make them feel a lot more real, doesn't it, the characters?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just takes a moment to do. So we're going back to the Oracle again, aren't we?
Yeah, so character goal. Would you like me to roll?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll just whip it up on this page. I think it's around... Oh, not page 9.
It's page 182 for character goal.
Yeah. 182. Character goal.
Got 73.
73. That is defend a place. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I can't quite see all the things on the other side, but let's get a descriptor. Well, actually, to be honest, I don't think we need a descriptor. I think we know who she is. You borrow one anyway.
Yeah. She's ugly. She's ugly.
She's... Aww. Okay.
Okay. Bless her.
Well, I mean, it makes a difference, I think. You know, ugly people are, I guess, to some extent more used to having to rely on other things and not have people just kind of fall at their feet and stuff, which makes her, I guess, very pragmatic. And it's very likely that she's, you know, especially as a noble being contacted as a first port of call for this research thing, she's probably someone who gets things done, you know?
So why does she need to defend a place?
Well, so defend a place. This information we have about our friend Kai is a threat, right? He is, like we said before, the almost the Antichrist. He's a scary dude to her, and knowledge of him, or even the fact that he disappeared, was great. What that meant was they didn't have to worry about any of that succession stuff. You know, the queen might have other children, or she might have other children in the future. It doesn't matter. At least they won't be half human. So him disappearing was kind of good. Him reappearing is bad. And her main goal is to work out what that means. You know, is he alive? Is he going to return? Who knows about it? Do we know? Do the humans know that he is an elf?
Yeah.
It's all stuff she needs to know to defend the kind of stability of the kind of house politics, you know?
Okay. So in the room now is Anita, ourselves, Anuna, and a few guards as her entourage.
Wrong button there, guys. Sorry, say that again, though.
So in the room is currently Anita, Anuna, a number of guards, 5 guards, and us 2. Are you happy with that?
Yep, sounds great.
Okay.
Yep, so the room, like we said before, it's kind of got some sort of weird sort of pillars that have been sort of hastily erected. There's sort of flowers decorating the entire surrounding of the area, wildflowers, and even sort of more beautiful flowers like rose bushes have actually been sort of placed at the start and the end. It's excessive, to be honest. It's a bit much for such a small space that's obviously used to being kind of a thoroughfare of things. I imagined that the entrance to the tent had no carpeting. We got muddy when we fell on the floor, but I think there is carpeting in here. I think there's sort of a floor, even if it's just sort of hastily thrown down carpeting recently. I don't think it would be practical to have nothing on the floor here. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she says...
But we are in a tent, so no, the ceiling is the kind of big old high ceiling tent thing.
So she says, the first thing I would like to know is what you know of our history and your friend's alleged involvement. At which point I say, we have been filled in on your history, and we understand your trepidation around humans and specifically iron magic. And I
imagine when you say the word iron magic, there's almost kind of a, it's a very,
yeah.
It's like, it'd be like saying hell or something, sin.
But I can't help but think this is some kind of misunderstanding. See, I think
it can't be the same Kai, right, Harold?
Your Kai and our Kai, I think, are different people. And she says,
does he have the mark?
And we say, I have no idea what you're talking about. To which she says,
let me explain. All members of the... Oh, we haven't given the house a name. Oh my god, that's quite important, isn't it?
Roll.
Roll for a name. House names. I might nip on to Fancy Name Generator for it. What do you think?
Sure.
Just get me pull it up and Fancy Name Generator. Fancy name.
Hisky Flower is disappointed that humans are disappointing elves in this scenario. Yeah, well, if you tune in for any more streams, you'll know that our characters are quite disappointing people in general.
Yeah, we've had a tough time. None of us, I don't think either of us expected it to go anywhere near like this. Okay, I've got some elf names up. I'll just switch to small screen. So this is on Fancy Name Generator, obviously. We'll just look at the sort of surnames. They're a little bit much. I quite like Zinmeier.
Zinmeier?
Zinmeier?
Yeah.
Should we go with Zinmeier?
Yeah. Is there like a...
So this is the branch house, Zinmeier, and we'll need to come up with a name for the main house, which I think should have sort of a similar root word. Maybe keep the Zin or the Mare and replace the other part with something else.
House Zinmeier.
House Zinmeier. Of the branch from House.
Also on Oracle 9, the settlement trouble, and I think that could just give us a little bit of insight into the reputation the house has as well. Potentially. I'll roll and see if we like it. If we don't, we don't have to use it, you know. Help if I don't drop my D10. Right. 27.
If we just take like the end of one of these. Well, maybe Zinfei is quite nice. Zinfei, Zinbenice. I quite like Zinbenice. What do you think of Zinbenice?
Zinbenice, sure.
Or Zinelra. Oh, I like that. Zinelra. We'll go with Zinelra for the main house. Which obviously is not the group that's holding us. That's the other kind of... I imagine this kind of land is divided like almost directly in half between the original sort of dominant house, Zinelra, and Zinmeier, which is the second house, and was formed by the brother, who is the spirit we encountered. God, all this world building just coming out of like a few random... Oh, I love this.
Ibrahim, the brother, the...
Ibrahim Zinmeier. That's quite nice.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. Happy with that. That's fine. So we know a little bit about her and where she's from. And she says, because we just said, you know, she's explained the mark to us, and I'm just going to lie, because I don't want them to be looking for our friend, right?
Yeah. I think we've both kind of clocked at this point that if he's not, he's somehow in trouble with these guys. Like, from what we've heard already and from everything we've heard, I think we both kind of know that we need to play our cards close. Luckily, we don't know where he is, but we also don't. We want to find him before these guys do, really.
And I say, he has no markings of which you describe. And she kind of looks at me as if to say, are you fucking joking?
Yeah. And then he says, Benison told me that you said he had the markings. And she describes them. The blue diamond markings under his eyes.
And I say, if what has been explained to me is correct, finding this Kai with the blue markings you describe is
blue marking
is something of great importance. Is it not possible that someone like Bellison, eager to please and climb the ladder, would not? Is it possible he might have embellished the truth? Or
I'll tell you what I think. He kind of does this kind of dawning realization, kind of. Oh my god!
Should I roll to lie? Because I'm lying to her, aren't I?
There isn't a roll to lie in this game. I guess you could call it.
I'm trying to compel her not to
keep
follow
asking about
her.
It. Yeah, I
line
think
of
compel is fine.
Further.
Do a compel with Shadow. Can I aid you in this?
Please do, because my shadow is terrible.
Although no, you aid your ally when you're trying to secure an advantage, don't you? But no, your character came up with this lie.
But I would receive the advantage.
Sorry?
But I would receive the advantage instead of you.
Yeah. I think we're playing mechanically there. I think your character's coming up with this lie. They should roll it.
Alright. Here we go. Oh my god. What's wrong with this die? It keeps rolling ones. That is a miss.
Okay, so they refuse or make a demand which costs you greatly. See, it doesn't really quite work for...
Yeah, that's fine. It says to pay the price, though. I'm just going to... So when it says pay the price, it says it's harmful. So maybe she knows we're lying, and she does some magic, some harmful magic to us, because she's offended. Right?
To you.
To me. Yeah. So I'm going to endure harm, I think.
Okay. So endure harm. Where's that? Gosh, this is a scary one. You face physical damage. Are you sure? Maybe stress. I think maybe a mental attack.
How would that work?
I don't know, some sort of magic.
Maybe she kind of...
Maybe she has like a stress rod that she pulls out of a thing and just it does nasty shit to your brain.
Maybe she kind of... Okay, as I tell the line, she kind of stands up and walks over slowly and puts a hand on my head, like my forehead, like a Vulcan mind meld type thing. And she briefly, ever so briefly, sees Caillou as she does this. And the feeling, all of the worries and anxieties that both she has and I have of Caillou are brought up, right? And I feel them viscerally as she does this.
And so knowing that you've been outed in the lie, like it all makes you panic.
So I'm going to roll to endure stress. This, both my own panic and the magical action of this like mind reading spell that she's casting is gonna do that. I think that's
the first thing you do is you suffer minus spirit equal to your foe's rank or appropriate to the situation.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be a massive thing. It's not like horrible. But yeah, so it has
I think
to be appropriate.
she's dangerous, right?
Yeah, I think a dangerous. So 2. 2 stress would be ideal.
Okay, so that's 2 spirit, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to roll. Okay, I got roll spirit or heart, whatever is higher.
Luckily, that's your heart.
It's okay. My spirit is still 3, so my spirit's higher.
Okay.
So yeah, I got 4, 5, 6, 7. I got a weak hit.
Okay, you press on. No other effects.
Okay. So she goes, I have treated you graciously so far, but I will not tolerate liars. I have come a long way, and I wish to aid you. I sincerely do. But I need you to help me first. Now, your friend Caillou, where is he?
I'm just going to take over here, the dragon now, and just say, we don't know. We want to find him as much as you do. He's our friend, and we lost him.
And she says, yes. And
what do you know about the humans and what they're doing with magic users? So I guess for this I'm trying to maybe... No, I'm not really trying to gather information.
Okay. And she says...
Nothing.
Yeah, she says nothing. She kind of
Even
looks.
if she does, she's not going to tell us. But I don't think she does.
She kind of looks and says, I do not think you're in the best position to be asking questions. Humans have a very poor sense of leverage, don't they? And then she kind of looks at her guards who laugh.
I guess she's almost tempted to approach me and do a mind meld thing with me, but I think she kind of... Do you think she takes me at my word when I say that we don't know? We don't know.
Yeah, I don't think she has any reason to mistrust you, right? Because I was blatantly lying, and I'm not very good at it either, you know? You don't have to roll to tell someone the truth, do you? So you're fine.
Well, I think what Jagar's going to say now is, it looks like we want the same thing. And I think that me and Harold are in a better position to get it, because we can move a lot more freely in the iron, under the Ironland, under the Iron banner. I don't think they'll be too happy about a bunch of elves poking around trying to find one of theirs, do you?
She says, I understand. What are you proposing?
Why don't you give us all the information you have on where he is, or where he could be, and we'll go find him for you.
She says, I know many things about Caillou. His location is not among them.
I'm going to gather information here, because she might have a clue as to where he last was, and obviously that's what I'm trying to get, right? It might give us a kind of a stepping stone for where to go next on our journey. But she might not. Oh, I didn't roll a d6. So I'm rolling with
B.
wits, so that's fine. Easily going to be a weak hit. The information complicates your quest or induces a new danger. Brilliant. So I'm going to take +1 momentum, and we are going to...
Should we roll action and theme to see?
That's exactly what I was going to do. I'm going to ask the Oracle to find out where he was kind of last seen, or where he could be.
We could even roll settlement name so we could get an idea.
Yeah.
And then action theme as to what kind of complication we get.
I'm going to roll location to... No, I'm going to roll region even.
Yep. This is like where he was sent as a child. Where he was sent away.
Oh, you think? Okay, that's quite nice. Okay, I'll roll that and see what that tells us. But I don't know if that's necessarily... So he was sent to the hinterlands, or was he last seen in the hinterlands? But yeah.
Should we say their scouts last gathered info that that's where he was?
Well, that's where he was headed. Because we were in the Havens, right? He disappeared from us for like a month or something, right? So he could easily have maybe gotten on the way up towards the hinterlands. But yes, because the hinterlands borders the deep wild as well, so that makes a lot of sense. If he was kind of spotted in that direction in the vicinity, headed into the hinterlands, around the hinterlands is where we need to go. And the specific location...
Is the hinterlands still under the Iron Banner?
No. I think we're mainly in the Haven, right? The hinterlands is kind of a wild zone. There are maybe a few hedge settlements of Ironlanders who have started to set up new colonies there.
Well, that's where you would have been seen, right? With them, with those settlers.
Yeah, with the settlers. Okay.
And because that's the leverage we have. We have to remain. That's the only leverage we have, is that we can walk among Ironlanders and they can't.
Yeah. Along the coast.
Okay. Oh, maybe it's like a fishing. Maybe you have some good knowledge of that place.
Yeah, maybe it's just a continuation. So I'll pull up the map for you guys to get an idea of where we're talking about here. This is. I found the color map and I've lost it. Okay, I'll grab just the plain one for now. Oh, so ugly. I wish I had the color one right now. Might just try and grab it. Hang on. Yeah, there is. Way better. Look at that boy. Right. So you can see here that the humans, the Ironlanders, are mainly congregated in the Havens. We've kind of wandered, I imagine, sort of. Well, actually, we're probably further north, aren't we? Into the deep wilds, right? Interestingly, Jagar was kind of brought up around the flooded lands, which is kind of fun. And he's kind of made his way to the heart of civilization, and now to the edges of it again. And so we've been told that Caillou was last seen along the coast in the hinterlands, so all the way over here, which is quite a journey.
Yeah, so east,
yeah,
northeast,
east, as far away from the deep wilds as you can go, right?
Yeah, that's not convenient for them. They can't get through the Havens.
Yeah, they can't get. It's very difficult, restricted travel around there. They'd have to go through the hinterlands, or even maybe up to the Tempest Hills, which nobody wants to go to.
And what flag flies above the hinterlands?
Well, so the hinterlands, like I said, I think is very, very sporadic. Like we've only just had, so the Havens and the Ironlands have only just started to settle around this sort of area. I imagine there are some elf presences here, maybe even Varu stuff all around here as well. I think the Varu kind of stick more to the Tempest Hills and things, but it's not one. What would you say? It's not one group of people, if that makes sense. It's
okay.
It's going to be multiple different peoples and different banners. I should say the flag for this place. Maybe do they have their own flag where we are now?
This is what I was wondering. What purpose does it serve? You know, like is it if there's a mix of people there, then why is that? And
I imagine that there's good mining resources there. If not iron in abundance, there's other things. But I think it's quite a sparse land. If I look at the rulebook, it will give us a nice description of the hinterlands, and I love that it does this. Bear with me. Oh, we're on moves. We're nowhere near. Does the game get you to make your world or your character first?
The world, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Or the character. I think the book says the character, but I always prefer the world first.
Well, I'll just find the page because it's going to be way easier after that. So 111, which in this is going to be about page 54-ish. Gosh. Sorry about this, guys. Professional streamers here. As you can tell, I've already skipped on one more chapter than I needed to. It would have been easier just scrolling up and down till I found it, wouldn't it? What page was it? 111, right?
I'll start looking as well.
There it is. Okay, hinterlands, finally. Sorry about that. Okay, so the hinterlands... Normally I can navigate through this world, but I don't usually read the world stuff. It's dense forest nestled against rugged terrain, hunters and camps and remote settlements. There's a lot of beasts around, and Varu bands, like I say, a lot of Varu controlled areas. So it's mainly going to be Varu based.
Okay, that's fine. So it's a Varu.
There's lots of mushrooms and berries and other forest things, but it's not as lush and nice as the Deep Wilds. It's not home to the elves. It's not their natural sort of place, I think would be fair to say.
Okay, so it's like Varu controlled. Should we say they're quite welcoming or relaxed on their borders? It's so sparsely populated that if someone was to just go and make a settlement, it would interfere with almost nobody. So there's kind of no real,
especially because the Varu probably exists mainly around by the Deep Wilds. Maybe quite a lot along here, but certainly the coast is of not real much interest to them. You know.
Yeah, they might have some docks set up.
I mean,
for trade.
Essentially, it's a big world. There's space enough for everyone at the moment. You know, nobody's really treading on anyone's toes. There's a lot of open space between settlements.
I just want to, that's fine. I just want to make sure we're being true to our world, because in our truths, we've mentioned how when you move from place to place, you need to be aware of who's in control and what banner they serve, etc.
That's totally fair. Okay, cool. So yeah, I imagine that she tells us that his last location was the coast of the hinterlands, one of the human settlements. Doesn't say a name to us, perhaps.
Yeah.
Maybe that he was spotted in several different locations there. And I think our first question would be, was he alone? Was he being escorted there? Was he under guard?
50-50?
Yeah.
All right. If 50 or above, yes, he's alone. Yes, he's alone.
He's alone. Oh my gosh. That's really interesting. So he's managed to... I don't know why he got taken there or whether he went there. This is all mysteries to us now. That's really exciting. More questions than answers. So how do you think she responds to our offer to go there and find him then? Because I don't think she trusts us.
Maybe she... Well, she has spies everywhere, right? That's how they got that information. I think she says, given the circumstances, I see no real options. What I would like from...
Do you think
what I would like...
Do you think there's some way she could... I don't know if this is possible in our world, but is there a convenient magics or an item she could use or thrust upon us that means that we will be somehow under her sway that's kind of awkward for us or not? Or
I think because she did the mind meld thing with me, that she has forged not a bond, but a connection. And that she can tap back into that connection at will, or
I mean, obviously, this isn't anything our characters know, but it's just I wondered in the fiction whether I guess we'll revisit it later if it comes up.
So I like the idea that she can keep an eye on us. She can see through my eyes, but I know when she's doing it, so she won't do it unless reports stop coming in of our whereabouts.
Yeah, but she's not going to tell us this.
Of course not. Of course not.
As far as Jagger and Harold are concerned, we're just going to scarp her. Hey.
Yeah, but I do have the vow to find our friend.
Yeah,
and
I
do still want to do that. But I have no intention of bringing him back. But little do we know that when we do find him, we are unwillingly revealing his location to these people who want him for bad reasons, really.
Yeah.
So, lots of complications coming up in the future. She says, given the circumstances, I see, against my better judgment, no reason, nothing else I can do except trust you. I want you to find your friend, take the information I have given you, travel across those dreaded Iron Lands, and when you find your friend, I want you to alert me.
Of course we will. Of course. Perish the thought that we wouldn't. Yes. We'll do that. We'll do that for you now. We'll need, obviously, supplies. We'll need any aid you can give us before we go. Yeah, for sure.
She says, that isn't a problem. I've already supplied 2 horses. Your water skins are full. You have enough food to last for the journey. Or you have enough food to last for a few days. And you, of course, may have your things back. But if you try to swing a sword anywhere in this camp, it will not be tolerated.
Yeah, I don't see us stopping for very long, don't worry.
Yeah. I don't. In fact, I would say she forbids us to put our gear on until we're gone. Right?
Yeah.
So they watch us go. We load our gear. I look at Anuna, and I sort of nod to her.
Is that like an apology nod, or?
Yeah, it's an apology nod. Yeah.
I give Benison a big friendly wave.
And we sort of trot off on our horses in these ceremonial robes covered in mud and dirt. And I feel like that's a really good place to end the session.
I think we're both striking out for a nearby friendly human settlement where we can rest up, finish off healing up and getting our spirits back up, and head out for adventure and to rescue Kai. I think we should mark progress on Kai because we have a
I
location.
think the same thing.
So I'll do that now. This has been a really fun session. It's been very talky and not very combat heavy. We have no combat compared to the last session, which was almost all combat, wasn't it? It's
kind of the situation we found ourselves in.
Watching, but I think that's quite a fun thing about it, that you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes it's going to be... Oh, it's on your sheet. We need to mark the thing, isn't it? Sometimes it's going to be more chatty. Sometimes it's going to be more intrigue and politics and mystery. Sometimes it's going to be more fighty and fun. So, it looks like you've marked 1 box for finding Kai.
Yeah. Do you think we should mark more than 1?
Well, when you mark for a dangerous task, you mark 2 boxes. So I can't remember what we marked that for.
No, it's fine. I just marked it now.
Oh, is that for today's, was it? Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. Mark the second one.
Yeah. And once we've made enough progress on find and probably rescuing Kai, we'll roll to that. But we're nowhere near right now. We'd have to roll a 1 to succeed on a D10 if we tried to complete it now, which would be a bit crazy.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say we've got quite a journey ahead of us. You know,
definitely.
I think next session we'll start by undertaking a journey, and we'll go from there. But yeah, it wasn't very combat-y, but that was the situation we found ourselves in. You know,
that's it. Yeah, well, I hope you guys have all enjoyed watching the stream today. Everyone who joined us, thank you so much. And if you're watching in the future, brilliant. I hope you enjoyed it too. This will be up on Twitch for the next couple of weeks. There's no point telling you that. You're right at the end. But yeah, I'll put this on my YouTube channel anyway with the other sessions. So we'll make a whole playlist of those. For anyone who wants to catch up on the previous sessions, they'll all be there. Yeah. And anyone who's interested in solo board games, check out our podcast, Always Player One podcast. I can't
believe we almost went a whole stream without plugging our podcast. So we're the co-hosts of the Always Player One podcast, which is a solo board gaming podcast. In episode 9, we specifically covered Ironsworn, so go ahead and check that out. And if you're into solo board games, we just released a new episode today on Aeon's End, and specifically Aeon's End Legacy, which is a phenomenal game. So go ahead and give that a listen as well.
Yeah, and feel free to message us on the links that we leave in the. I don't. Can you leave a link on Twitch? I'm so new to Twitch. I'll see if I can find a way to put a link to contact us on here. But you can always message me on my YouTube channel. I'll read any comments you leave on the episodes there, or you can message us on our email, alwaysplayer1@gmail.com. Is that right?
It's alwaysplayer1podcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, feel free to message us there about the Twitch streams, what you want to see in the future, whether you enjoyed this or if there's anything you like and didn't like. And thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah, have a good one. Good evening, everyone.
Enjoy your days.